This is the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 1. And it reads, the book of the generation of Yawashi HaMashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Kalalayim, Allahayanawa, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and rule, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth that risking their own lives throughout the four corners of the earth. To the Aquath listening and learning, Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin camp here in Toronto with another lesson. We'll get right into it. Right? Yahawashi, our Lord, was King Solomon, if you can receive it. Matthew 1, verse 1, and it reads, the book of the generation of Yawashi HaMashiach, the son of David, right? And who was the son of King David? King Solomon. The son of Abraham. Who was the son of Abraham? Isaac. Right? Yahawashi, the spirit of Yahawashi. Yahawashi was King Solomon. Yahawashi was Isaac. If you can receive it. Look at this word generation. Of the generation. The book of the generation. In the Hebrew.
Strong's G, 1078. Genesis. Genesis.
Genesis. In the Hebrew. Source. Origin. A book of one's lineage. Example, in which ancestry or progeny Salakia, are enumerated. Use of birth, nativity, of that which follows origin, existence, life. The wheel of life, others explain it, the wheel of human origin, which as soon as men are born, begins to run, i.e. its course of life. From the same as G1074, nativity, figuratively, nature, generation, natural. Let's look at the etymology, G1074.
Strong's G, 1074. Genea. Genea.
Right. Fathered, birth, nativity. Right. Keyword fathered. That which has been begotten, men of the same stock, a family. Right? The several ranks of natural descent, the successive members of a genealogy. Right? Right? Yahawashi was Solomon. Yahawashi was Isaac, if you can receive it. But in this lesson, we're going to focus on King Solomon, right? The book of the generation of Yahawashi HaMashiach, the son of David, who was King Solomon, the son of Abraham, who is Isaac, right? Let's further prove it. 2 Samuel 7, verse 12, and it reads, and when thy days shall be fulfilled, whose days? King David. Fulfilled meaning he's lived his life, right? And when thy days shall be fulfilled, King David, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, right? You're going to pass and go into the spirit world, be at rest. I will set up thy seed after thee, right? His seed. Who is the seed? King Solomon, right? But we're going to expound on this. Let's look at this word seed. Seed in thy seed in the Hebrew.
Strong's H, 2233. Zerah. Zerah.
right? Zerah in the Hebrew. Seed, sowing, offspring, okay? Semen, right? Sperm. Offspring, descendants, children, posterity, right? We get the point, right? And when thy days shall be fulfilled, King David, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers in the spirit world, you're at rest, you're going to pass on, right? You're going to die. I will set up thy seed after thee, right? King Solomon, sperm, seed, children, offspring. We read the definition, right? Which shall proceed out of thy bowels, King Solomon, and I will establish his kingdom. Okay? Talking about King Solomon. Verse 13. He shall build a house for my name, right? Talking about King Solomon in this first part of the scripture, right? Because King Solomon built the temple, right? Salakia. I'm gonna put that in the queue. Right? He shall build a house for my name, King Solomon, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever, right? Who's this talking about? And I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. He's talking about Yawashi, right? Because King Solomon's throne wasn't established forever. Let's look at Daniel 2, verse 44, and it reads, "And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom," right? This hasn't happened yet. It's an end time prophecy, right? This is a kingdom prophecy, right? Which shall never be destroyed, the kingdom of heaven on earth as it is in heaven, under Yahawashi. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever, right? This is the kingdom of heaven under Yahawashi. Daniel 7, let's further expound on it. Daniel 7, the title here is the Son of Man presented. Daniel 7, verse 13, and it reads, I saw in the night visions, and this is a vision of Daniel, right? I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, right? The Son of Man, Yahawashi, came with the clouds of heaven, the chariots, and came to the Ancient of Days, his father, Yahawah, right? And this is a cut on Uwakitaki, right? This scripture right here establishes separation. The Son of Man, Yahawashi, came with the clouds of heaven, the chariots of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, his father, and they brought him near before him. The chariots brought Yahawashi in the presence of his father, Yahawah. Here's a point. And there was given him dominion, his son, Yahawashi, given dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, right? Everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, right? This hasn't happened yet, man. This is establishing forever, which we read, right? And I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. It's talking about Yahawashi. Yahawashi is King Solomon, if you can receive it. Verse 14, I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with the stripes of the children of men. Right, I will be his father, and he shall be my son. King Solomon. Right? Right? If he commit iniquity, Did Yawashi commit iniquity? For a matter of fact, before we go there, did was King Solomon chastised with the rod of men and the stripes of the children of men? No, right? I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, King Solomon committed iniquity. Yahawashi didn't, right? Yahawashi was perfect, but King Solomon wasn't perfect. I will chasten him with the rod of men. King Solomon wasn't chastened with the rod of men. Yahawashi was. And with the stripes of the children of men. Right, let's prove that. King Solomon committed sin. 1 Kings 1. First Kings 11 verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which Yahawah said unto the children of Israel, Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come into unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart being mine, after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love, right? So this doesn't mean you can't have heathen women. The Lord said, don't go into these heathen women, because they will turn your minds away from me, the Almighty Power, Yahawah. Okay? Okay? Joseph had two sons with the daughter of the Egyptian priest. His two sons were Ephraim, and Manasseh. Two of the tribes, man. They're synonymous with Joseph. Okay? Verse 3. Right, so this plainly means that woman of the other nation will turn your mind away from the Most High Power, Yahweh. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart, turned away his mind. And see that? This is where King Solomon went off. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart, his mind, after other gods. And his heart was not perfect with the Lord power, as was the heart being mind, of David his father. Right? So this is where King Solomon went off. Right? This is where King Solomon committed iniquity. Iniquity is sin upon sin. Back in 2 Samuel 7 verse 14, I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, King Solomon, I will chasten him with the rod of men. King Solomon wasn't chastened. Yahawashi was. And with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. Right? So King Solomon died being king. And the kingdom was rent after he passed. Sirach 47 verse 13. Solomon reigned in a peaceable time and was honored, for the Most High made all quiet round about him, that he might build a house in his name, we read that, and prepare a sanctuary forever. How wise wast thou in thy youth, and as a flood filled with understanding. Thy soul covered the whole earth, and thou fillest it with dark parables. Thy name went far into the lands, and for thy peace thou wast beloved, right, King Solomon? The countries marveled at thee for thy songs and proverbs and parables and interpretations. By the name of Yahawah power, which is called the Lord power of Israel, thou didst gather gold as tin, and didst multiply silver as lead. Thou didst bow thy loins unto women, and by thy body thou wast brought into subjection. right? And that's when Solomon went off building idols for these women that he clave to in love, right? Thou didst stain thy honor and pollute thy seed, so that thou broughtest wrath upon thy children, and was grieved for thy folly. So the kingdom was divided, right? It was rent. And out of Ephraim ruled a rebellious kingdom, right? The 10 tribes. As a matter of fact, if we read further down in First Solomon's King, Salakia, 1 Kings 11, 20 something verse. First Kings 11 verse 28. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor, and Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him rule over the charge of the house of Joseph, right, the northern kingdom. And it came to pass at the time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. Here's the point. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, on Jeroboam, and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith Yahawah, the power of Israel. Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, Salakia, and will give 10 tribes to thee, right, the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, right? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? Verse 33, because that they have forsaken me, and have worshipped Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do that which is right in mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father, right? This is where Solomon went off, man, building idols for these heathen idols, heathen gods. Verse 34, howbeit I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him a prince all the days of his life for David's, my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes, right? The northern kingdom. And unto his son will I give 1 tribe, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? Judea, that David, my servant, may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there, right? Judah, the head tribe. Back in the so yeah, the northern kingdom, the 10 tribes, the kingdom was rent when King Solomon passed, when he died, right? First Salakia, Sirach 47, verse 21 once again. So the kingdom was divided, and out of Ephraim, the northern kingdom, ruled a rebellious kingdom, right? Went after nothing, more idols. But the Lord will never leave off his mercy, neither shall any of his works perish, right? His elect. Neither will he abolish the posterity of his elect, Neither will he abolish the posterity. What does it mean to abolish? Isn't it to destroy, do away with? Let's look it up quick. Abolish. Abolish. Put an end, to do away with, right? Neither will he abolish right? Put away, do an end with the posterity. Let's look into that word, posterity, right? Posterity, a person's offspring, descendants, right? Neither will he do away with the descendants, right? The posterity of his elect. This is the remnant. And the seed of him that loveth him he will not take away. Wherefore he gave a remnant unto Jacob, and out of him a root unto David, right? Verse 23, thus rested Solomon with his fathers, and of his seed he left behind him Rehoboam, even the foolishness of the people, and one that had no understanding, who turned away the people through his counsel. There was also Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who caused Israel, the northern kingdom, to sin, and showed Ephraim the way of sin. Right. So King Solomon went off. This was a sin, right? If he commit iniquity in 2 Samuel 7 verse 14, right? This was a sin, right? Let's go to Isaiah 53. The whole chapter is good, but we're only gonna touch Isaiah 53 verse 3. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. It's Yawashi. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of the Most High, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with stripes we are healed. Right? Yahawashi. Right? Right? This is the stripes of men, stricken with the rod of men. Isaiah 53 verse 10. Yet it pleased the Lord, all caps, Yahawah, to bruise him. Bruise who? Yahawashi. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord, Yahawah, shall prosper in his hand. Right? So Yahawashi had to come and pay for his sins in his past life, which was King Solomon, and the sins of Israel as a whole. Right? This is Yahawashi being bruised of men, beaten with the stripes of men. Hebrews 7 verse 27, and it reads, who needeth not daily, a matter of fact, Hebrews 7 verse 26, for such a high priest became us, who is holy, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, and made higher than the heavens, Yahawashi, who needeth not daily, as those high priests, to offer up sacrifice. Right, you look in the law, the high priest, the Levites had to offer up sacrifices, right? First for his own sins, and then for the people's. Right, here's the point. For this he did once, Yahawashi. He did this once. The ultimate sacrifice. Done away with the law of sacrifice. Right? Right? Became the intercessor for the children of Israel and the Father, Yahawah. Right? For this he did once. How did he do this? How did he do this once? By being nailed to the cross. Right? For this he did once. Did what once? Offered up first for his own sins, and then for the people's. Right? His own sins as King Solomon, and then for the people's, the children of Israel as a whole. For this he did once, by being nailed to the cross, when he offered up himself when he offered up himself, the ultimate sacrifice. Leviticus 9 verse 7, this is the law. And Moses said unto Aaron, go unto the altar and offer thy sin offering and thy burnt offering, and make an atonement for thyself and for the people, and offer the offering of the people, and make an atonement for them, as the Lord Yahawah commanded. Right. So the priest offered up the sins for him, offered up a sacrifice for himself, and then one for the people. Leviticus 16 verse 11. And Aaron shall bring the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself, and shall make an atonement for himself and for his house, and shall kill the bullock of the sin offering, which is for himself. Verse 15. Then shall he kill the goat of the sin offering, that is for the people, and bring his blood with the veil, Salakia, and bring his blood within the veil, and do with that blood as he did with the blood of the bullock, and sprinkle it upon the mercy seat, and before the mercy seat. Khan, right? And those are in our laws, right? So if you can receive it, right? Yawashi is King Solomon, right? But yeah, that's it on that. Stay prayed up. Pray without ceasing. Kwame Ashrala. Wa Abad Babal. Shalom.